Thank you everyone for attending today. The purpose of today's presentation is to give you an overview of what positive behaviour intervention support is, which will often be referred to as PBIS. We will cover what is PBIS, the PBIS framework, including the tiers, and what PBIS looks like if we implement it here at our school. At the end, I'll provide some examples of PBIS in other schools. The touching today is from the PBIS website, which you'll all be provided with a link with at the end. So what is it? PBIS is an approach schools can use to improve school safety and promote positive behaviour. It also helps schools decide how to respond to a child who misbehaves. While PBIS is a whole school approach, it caters specifically for those who have behaviour difficulties and works in a proactive way rather than a reactive way. PBIS recognises that kids can only meet behaviour expectations if they know that there are expectations there. The aim of PBIS is to reduce problematic behaviour, resulting in more efficient social and academic development in our students. Outcomes of the application of PBIS in other schools have resulted in fewer detentions, suspensions, and an increase in academic achievement. When PBIS is implemented well and safe, a supporting learning environment is provided to all students. Students and staff benefit from increased academic instructional time for students, improved social climate of the school, increased numbers of students displaying positive behaviours, and support the students, teachers and families matched to identify their needs. Looking at the PBIS framework. Tier 1 is a school-wide universal system for everyone in the school. This is where students learn basic behavioural expectations such as being kind and respectful. This may also include teachers using praise and rewards for good behaviour. All staff are responsible for teaching the behaviour expectations, providing consistent feedback to students, delivering corrective feedback and consequences when expectations are not being followed. Tier 2 is a specialised group strategy, which provides another layer of support to those struggling with their behaviour. An example of this is a student struggling with social interaction, resulting in interrupting or yelling out. A Tier 2 approach would be to engage a student in a social skills group to minimise their behaviour. Another example would be to utilise the check-in, check-out system. Tier 3 is an individualised strategy. This is used when Tier 1 and 2 have been ineffective. An example of an individualised strategy would be the development of a behaviour support plan. This is where there's going to be a lot more involvement with people from the school, such as the school counsellor, a teacher's aide, learning and support teacher, the classroom teacher, and of course the student and their parent would have a massive input. PBIS for our school. So let's have a look now at how PBIS can be applied if it was for our school and if we were to implement it here. We know that we are a relatively small school of 318 students, and we're grateful that we have 3 out of 15 classes that are special education classes. We have 2 that cater for students with intellectual disabilities and 1 that caters for students with emotional disturbance and behaviour difficulties. But one thing we do know is that in every other classroom, including all of our mainstream, all students at some point can present with difficult behaviours. Therefore, PBIS is not just useful for special education classes, it's useful for the whole school. How do we implement PBIS and what do we need for this? In order to implement PBIS, we need a team. This would typically be a team of 8 to 10 teachers from our teaching staff. The identified team will then be required to attend training for professional development of PBIS. This team needs to be diverse, so it will include mainstream and special ed teachers, admin, at least 1 exec staff, and perhaps a teacher's aide. Once the training has been completed, the team identify 3 to 5 behavioural expectations that the whole school will implement. These need to be simple, positive and achievable. For example, be safe, be responsible, be respectful, rather than something negative such as do not be disrespectful. The most crucial part of the process is that all staff are being consistent in implementing the approach. Each teacher who hasn't had a chance to complete the PBIS training will be taught by one of the PBIS team members on how to implement the strategies appropriately so that every person in school is being consistent and quality implementation is being delivered. The 3 to 5 expectations are for all areas of the school, including the classroom, playground, canteen, bus stop, everywhere. One of the biggest barriers in the process is leaving behind your own specific rules that you may have from your current teaching pedagogy and learning to adapt to a whole school approach. I understand this wouldn't be easy, but the evidence shows us this will significantly help our students and in turn help us with behaviour management and increase academic behaviour. Listening, I'll email out a copy of this presentation for your reference. If you have any questions, just please let me know.